What's up, fellow adult collectors? Welcome to Civilian Collectibles. In this video, I'm going to explain the most cost-efficient way that you can have highly detailed and beautiful dioramas like the ones you see here for your 6-inch or 1/12 scale action figures. All of these were made possible by a passion project named InstaPrint Diorama. I have covered this project on my channel before, and it is where most of the backgrounds for my videos come from. However, in the time since my last video, InstaPrint Diorama has had many updates and a lot of new designs. Plus, since I wanted to build a new set for this channel's retooling anyway, it made sense to cover all those updates. The basis for these designs is digital files that you can download and print out at home on regular plain paper. Then, kinda like a puzzle, you glue them to a stiff backing and put them together how you see fit. This may sound a little complicated, but here in just a minute I'll give you all the details on exactly how it works. If this is your first time landing on my channel, hi, my name is Seville, and here I like to discuss action figures and other collectibles based on my favorite movies, TV shows, and video games. If you find this video enjoyable or informative, please give me a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell. For the sake of clarity, I've already purchased and downloaded all of the files made available so far. However, for this tutorial, I'm going to stick to one of the totally free designs, the bar. First, I glanced over all the designs to kind of get an idea of how I wanted it to look in the end. Then, it was time to get my foam boards out and put them in the order that I thought would make them work best. Once I had that decided, it was time to print out my floor pieces. I am kind of cheating with these because this is not the floor that originally comes with this design. Another one did that I've already used in the past, so I'm using one that's new to me. Either way, the mechanics of how it works is still basically the same. The next thing I did was cut off all the white trim to each piece and then begin gluing it down to the board. To ensure that it went on as straight as possible, I folded one side down the length of the design and then wrapped it around the board itself. And then, to ensure that each piece stayed in place, I would tape down the ends that would eventually be covered up by the next overlapping piece. I basically used the width of an individual board in the graphic design itself as my overlapping space. In doing so, the tape is not seen at all in the final setup. Keep in mind, you do still have to glue each piece. The tape is not replacing the glue, it's just holding it still while it all dries. Once I had all the top and bottom panels on, there was that ugly point where they overlapped that way, but that's what these panel strips are for. So, the next step was to cut all the white edges off of these, and then glue them down in the center to cover all the overlapping parts. One of the great things about this entire concept is that it's easy to print out new pieces to fix any errors you may make along the way. With the floor done, it was time to start building the walls, so I printed out all those pieces and then started deciding where I wanted each one to go. This is where you can let your own creativity fly a little bit, because it doesn't really matter which piece goes in what order. Personally, I decided to start with what would be my corner piece, plus I wanted all the panels that had windows on it to be on this board. When I got to my fourth panel, about a third of it was hanging over the edge of the board, so rather than cut that off, I decided to take a new board, cut it in half, and tape it to this board, giving me some more room. Once I did that, obviously, I needed some more floor space, so I took the other half of the foam board and taped it to the first one to extend that out. The floor still didn't quite reach all the way to the left end, but I could always print out more panels to finish that off later. Focusing back on the wall, I added the final 3 panels to another board on the right side, making a true corner for the bar. The next part can be a little tricky, but once done correctly, it really livens up the overall look. Many of the InstaPrint designs include accessory pieces that, once folded up and glued properly, create 3-dimensional objects that can be placed in the space. These pieces are for the bar counter itself. I've printed each page out twice so that I can put it all together. The longer piece is the center. Once you've got both pages printed and cut out, you simply fold the colored areas and then glue together the overlapping parts to make the rectangular shape. To help keep its form, you can stuff in the center with something. I'm just using bubble wrap. After that, I cut out and folded the other pieces according to the colored areas to make the end pieces. For me, the easiest way to hold all this together was to tape across the bottom. There is a little bit of tape on top too, but not so much so that it's not all that visible. Of course, the straighter your folds, the better all this will look in the end. I know mine aren't perfect, but I can work with it. There's also a drink cooler accessory that works the same way. Again, print it all out and fold in the colored areas until you get a 3-dimensional object. Other sets also have crates and boxes that work the same way. Having these types of 3-dimensional objects in the sets really add to the overall depth and character to the displays. Then once you start to add in whatever figures you may have, it really starts to come to life. With wrestling being a big portion of my collection over the years, I've actually acquired a lot of tables and chairs that fit right into this bar. On top of that, I decided to add in some of the mini arcades that can be found at places like Walmart or Target, and wow, that really brought it all together. Now that you see how it all works, you might be asking, so how can I get these? Well, it's pretty simple really. The InstaPrint Diorama shop can be found on Etsy. Searching the name as one single word should get you right to it, but I'll also put a link in my description. If you'd like to stick to the totally free designs like the bar or a penthouse, the links for those are on the shop's About page toward the bottom. If you'd like to purchase further designs, those are typically sold in sets of 3 for the price of 2, or you could do like I did and just buy the entire collection. Available designs include things like an industrial warehouse, a dojo, an abandoned lodge or asylum, a martial arts studio, and more. Also, InstaPrint Diorama does have an Instagram page where he shows off what buyers have come up with using his designs. Along with posting photos from other toy photographers, he'll also use this to talk about any upcoming designs. So, with all that said, for any collectors who want to have some really nice looking dioramas go with their action figures, InstaPrint Diorama is the absolute best way to get them.